Hello, and welcome to Level Up Pup Gaming's region-locked, Rune Level 1, no-hit of all bosses and invaders of Limgrave. So, we start with the Grafted Scion, which is not a boss players are intended to defeat on their first playthrough. It's far stronger than any of the starting characters, and if you get hit by him, or killed, he'll simply take you down to 1 HP and the fight will end. I chose to add this boss to Limgrave because his location is close to or part of Limgrave. However, to get back to him if he wins the fight, you have to access him from Liurnia. So technically I could have added him to that section, but I thought I'd just do it now. While I fight him, I just want to go over a few things about the run. One, I'm doing this region locked. If I didn't, I could go into other regions of the game earlier than intended and pick up very powerful tools and weapons to make me far overpowered for Limgrave and other areas. So the only thing I'm allowed to use are weapons and items located in Limgrave. I'm only allowed to upgrade my weapons to the highest level that Limgrave grants. This means the highest level I can take a somber weapon is 2, because the highest somber smithing stone you can find in Limgrave is 2. And the highest I can take a normal weapon is 2 plus 7, as there are 2 smithing stone 3s located in Stormhill Castle. And these are the highest of the regular smithing stones you can find in Limgrave. And there's only 2 of them. Second rule, I cannot be hit by anything that lowers my health. This means I also cannot block anything, and I cannot have a status effect that damages me procced. So no poison, rot, frost, bleed, etc. Debuffs are fine if they do no damage. 3. I'm fighting any enemy that has a health boss bar or a name above their health bar. So this means I'm fighting all bosses and invaders until they are defeated, whether it be by their death or the fight ending in another way. This is important to note because I want to complete all quest lines for NPCs on this first playthrough, and some fights end before the enemy has been defeated and their health bar depleted. So this also happens to other enemies in other regions of the game. So anything within these perimeters is permitted. I can use whatever weapon, Ash of War, talisman, or consumable I wish, as long as they are within Limgrave. As you can see from this first fight, I'm not a style fighter. I fight many enemies in a safe and careful manner, and many of the fights may be not that impressive or quite boring, as I'm sacrificing many openings to ensure that I don't get hit or take any damage. So, last thing I want to go over is, up in the corner you'll see a number 2 there. That is the number of attempts it took for me to no-hit this boss for this Rune Level 1 run. I'm going to keep track of how many attempts it takes for me to beat each boss to show that this doesn't come without work. Whenever you see somebody master a boss or no-hit them or beat them at a low level like level 1, it usually comes with a lot of failures and a lot of learning and practice. So this Grafted Scion boss, technically that 2 should probably be about 802. I have in the past studied this boss for many hours, and it took me a long time to be able to find his openings, know what works, and know what doesn't work. But as far as this fight is concerned, it just took me 2 tries. A couple of times I messed up, so had to start over. And this is the one that I was able to get it on. And you'll see this number increase progressively as I go through the game, because there are bosses that I do not know by heart. And there are bosses that I haven't fought at a low level yet, and so I got a lot to learn, which is crazy because I've spent about 3,000 hours in this game and I'm still learning new things about it. So I'm excited to do this level 1 run. Let's go ahead and talk about this boss. These openings are just the safest openings I can find. I know that there's other ways to fight him. You could rotate around a lot of his attacks and dodge it that way, but these are the ones that I'm just most comfortable with, and the ones that I found when I was fighting him at Rune Level 1 on my other attempts to complete this challenge. So I kind of keep my distance to bait out this little swing attack and then roll at the last little 2 pokes right there. His scream, you can run in the way end, give him a good smack in the face. A lot of times, you're going to see me, as I said, there's a lot of fights that I'll be playing it really safe, and you'll be sitting there screaming like, hey, that's an opening, you can attack him, and I don't attack him because I've been hit trying to get into those openings, and I got a little bit of a thing of like PTSD from different moves catching me, and I get really scared about it, and I can't get myself to do it any further because I'm scared I'm going to get hit. So I tend to just find the openings that I know 100% cannot be punished or returned, or how to get away from them. Like this one right here. This one right here. I know you can rotate this, but I prefer to just jump in, give him a smack, and then look at how close that was. I don't know how I didn't get hit there. A lot of enemies, they can return fire pretty quickly, and it's pretty nerve-wracking. So there's a few bosses in here that take me a few minutes to get through, and I apologize about that, but hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this. We're nearly done with this boss. Sometimes he gives me enough openings in a row like this, you know, just one right after another, and I'm able to stagger him, but I couldn't get the stagger this time. I don't know why I rolled back on that. Whenever he buffs, I buff. Just for giggles. It's like, hey, I can buff too, punk. So that scream increases my damage output for a little bit. And I use that quite often in this run, in Limgrave. And I will find better screams later that I will make use of. But with that, we are done with our first boss. And so the next boss I know is a little silly because, you know, most people don't even consider him a boss, but I technically have to put him in here because he has a boss health bar, so it's more of a part of the tutorial section as well, so he's really, really weak, and he does not have a lot of health, and it's pretty easy to defeat him, so kind of silly to add him to a challenge run, but we can't ignore the Soldier of Godrick. He's out here doing his best. So let him do his charge, jump in, stagger. And this is for level 1, we don't take him down all the way, so we got to give him a little smack at the end. And then I bow to the bosses that I really respect, lore-wise, or the bosses that I just enjoy fighting. Up next, we have, I did the Guardian Golem. It's a little bit further into Limgrave, but I wanted to go to him first because he drops a talisman that increases our damage based on our weight. So how much equipment we have on, the lower our weight, the more damage we get a boost from. So it's really important for Rune level 1. Although most people do Rune level 1s completely naked, I'm choosing to wear some outfits, but the outfits I'm wearing are pretty low weight. But I can't help myself. I like wearing stuff and styling. I don't know why I ran around him the long way for the repost. I'm dumber than a bag of bricks. Normally this repost also, if you're at a higher level, will one-shot him, but since we're at Rune level 1, we got to give him another one. Which isn't fair, because the game put him at an angle where I can't get the repost. So the game be cheating on that one. But our charged attack tier came in handy. We got him down. And we got the Blue Dancer Charm Talisman, which is going to come in handy for a lot of other tougher bosses. Let's see, up next, I wanted to head over and get our outfit for Limgrave, so we got to take out this Invader, and as you see up at the corner, I had some trouble with this one. His parry wind-ups are very, very similar, and they're super fast. And so you're going to see me backstep away from him because I don't know which one he's going to do, and I kind of need him to run at me to do it, so that I have not been able to parry that. So that's why I backstepped away and just kind of did it when he was running at me. And it was really important in this fight, too, that I beat him before Yura shows up. I don't want Yura to help me in this fight, so luckily we got 2 parries in a row. And the bleed. As you can see, I switched my club over to the spiked club because it has bleed on it, and it actually does more damage than the regular club. But the person talking is the person that would have showed up to help us. He's another NPC, and I didn't want him to get in the fight. I wanted to take him out on my own. And then up next is a fight that I can understand if people don't consider this, you know, an actual no-hit of a boss because of two reasons. One, we don't kill him. The fight stops halfway through if you choose. You can choose to kill him, but he's an NPC with a pretty long quest and lots of other benefits to keeping him alive later in the game. So we get our cloth garb, which is our outfit for the rest of the video. And then another thing, I can understand if people don't consider this a no-hit because I let him debuff me. The debuff does no damage. That's the debuff right there. So it does no damage to you. It just makes your attack go lower. And I don't consider that a hit because it doesn't take away any of your HP. But if people disagree with that, I understand, and I apologize. But there it is. The fight's over. So we go ahead and we accept his plea of friendship. We give him a warm welcome.
Well, finally come round, have you? I knew you would. You're a lady of reason, through and through.
Good old Patches. Alright, so now that we got our outfit, feeling real confident. I don't know why I have the shield on, the parry shield. I should have taken that off. It would have given me a little bit more damage for the blue dancer charm. I have no idea why I'm wearing that. But this is the Beastman of Farum Azula. It's pretty easy to manipulate. He's gonna swing, and you just jump over it, or just wait and run in at the end. It's 1, 2, and then you can hit him. He's doing the 4 swing attack, slam, and then I over jump him here. It's like, oh crap. Didn't mean to do that far of a jump. Well, he does it again. And then this, his roar, he's going to go into this really crazy combo. He does like 6 swings that are very fast and vicious, so I just knock him out of it with a firebomb to the face. And there's another boss in the books. Coming up next, this boss is a little weird because normally they're a lot more aggressive and really fast as far as their attacks, but for some odd reason this one, not only does it start at half health, which I meant to hydrate there but accidentally threw a bomb. Not only is it at half health, but it seems to be wounded and goes really slow. And I messed up 5 times because they're, just like with some NPCs, their wind-ups for their parry openings, they're similar, and some of them are just off by like a split-second different timing. And if you get the wrong one and you parry too early, then she ends up hitting you. So I love fighting these Black Knife Assassins. I wish this one wasn't at half health, but we'll run into many more of them. Those are really cool, fun enemies, the parry. And speaking of parries, this boss, even though it says 1 up in the corner, I mistimed a parry on the first attempt. That should say like 1100, like 1101 attempts, because I have spent another like 100 hours studying this boss and fighting him in different locations and stuff in different ways. So I have him completely memorized by heart, which is why I don't mind fighting him in this tiny little shack. I love fighting these guys. They are so much fun to parry. See, this parry right here, you gotta kind of move left in order to line up with the parry window, because if you try and parry it straight on, it'll go right through your parry and you'll take some damage, which is why I messed up the first attempt. But I have every single one of this guy's moves memorized by heart. There's nothing he can throw at me that I don't know how to deal with. But like I said, it took a long time to study him and get this comfortable with him. Not only have I learned how to parry him, but I've also just learned how to hit him with no parries and dodge all of his attacks, which, if you stay close to him, he doesn't turn his... That's the only red sword attack he'll do if you're close to him. But if you run away from him, he'll turn his sword red and throw it out at you, and it has a very, very long range and super weird timings to dodge. It is not fun, so you never want to get far away from these guys. You want to stay up close. And in case you're wondering why I'm dodging him when he's doing the red sword and attack, is because you can't parry his sword when it's red. You can only parry just these normal attacks. Don't want to get grabbed by that. That's really bad. And done. Alright, coming up next is actually an enemy that I really enjoy fighting. I've actually always enjoyed fighting them. They're a lot less chaotic and aggressive as the tree sentinels. Apparently they were supposed to be a jousting fight. The developer said they intended for you to fight these guys on torrent, but it's always been a little hard for me, so fighting on torrent, so I just stay on the ground and fight them. Sad part is that their horse is separate from them, so you can take down their horses, whereas the tree sentinel, you take down both together at the same time. So it always breaks my heart to have to hurt the horsey. Ooh, I don't know how I didn't get hit there. There's a lot of close calls in these fights. These guys are terrifying. The first playthrough I went through, you'd run into one of them and they chase you for like a pretty long ways, man, before they despawn back to their spawning point. And they're really fast too. It's nerve-wracking running away from them on torrent. And I chose to switch over to the broadsword instead of the club because it's a little bit faster and has a little bit longer reach, which is really important with this. I've tried to fight them with the club before and it was just a little too slow. Sometimes he can get away like that. You know, he can run away pretty quickly as soon as he's done with an attack, so it's important I had something that I could hit him with really quick and that had better range. I don't know how that didn't hit me right there, or that. Swing and a miss right there. That's right, we almost got his horse down. So once you get their horse down, you can give him a repost and pretty much ends the fight. And if you don't take them out as quick as you can, if their horse goes down, then they will summon the horse back, and you got to do this all over again. And there's the repost. Alright, up next is one of my... I've made 2 errors in making this, and this is my first one. I forgot to show my stats for this fight. So I deeply apologize about that. If you really are hard up about it and you need to see the proof that I'm at level 1 for every fight and you don't accept this one, I completely understand. But I just got a little too caught up in bowing to her, and it's a pretty messy fight because I was still planning on practicing her, but ended up getting her down, so I miss and panic roll away and panic parry a lot. But yeah, I just brain dead, completely forgot to do it. There's no way I could edit it in, so I apologize. But it is my Rune level 1 character, as you can see, so I promise I would never dupe my viewers or lie to them about anything like that. So there's my panic parry. But it is my level 1. You can see the stats up there. Pretty much the same look for a level 1 character, so that two-handed swing, you can't parry that, so gotta wait for the one-handed attacks. There's the bleed. So yeah, this was at level 1. I apologize that I forgot to show my stats. Next one, I went into Weeping Peninsula, which is still part of Limgrave, but I went into Weeping Peninsula to fight this kind of higher leveled boss to get the second talisman that I really needed, which is Radagon's Scar Seal, and that raises our dex and our strength by 3 levels, as well as our stamina and our health, and that helps a lot, so we can use some other weapons. Like the spike club, I actually couldn't use that at level 10, which is what the level 1 character Wretch starts at. All the stats are at level 10, and the club, I think, requires 13 strength. So I needed this talisman so I could one-hand the club. Now his parries are actually pretty hard to time because he has 2 wind-ups. This part you can chase him down and hit him while he's powering up his sword. But that back jump that you see, it has the exact same wind-up as the parry opening. And so if he's running towards you and he does it like this, then you can parry him. But if he's standing still and he does that same wind-up, sometimes he'll jump backwards and you can't parry that jump backwards, which is why you see it took me 10 attempts to figure that out. So I could have parried that because he was walking forward. But if he jumps backwards when he does that same wind-up, then you can't parry it and you take damage. Luckily this is a pretty good opening to throw a firebomb at him. And then go ahead and finish him off with one more firebomb. Those guys are pretty fun, actually. But the next boss is not fun. I really hate these things. They're so aggravating to fight because they can teleport around super fast. Their attacks are so fast and they build up bleed way too quickly. And they have this attack that can stun lock you that's really aggravating to dodge, so I ended up figuring out that I could just run away from it. I don't know how I didn't get hit there. That was so weird. But these things are so aggravating and annoying. And that's the attack that, yeah, if that grabs you, then you're stuck and you can't move for a couple minutes, then he'll just come up and kill you, so I feel no shame in cheesing this guy with holy attacks, because they're super weak to holy. As you can see, I don't like these bosses, so I'll go ahead and give him a you suck point down. Luckily there's only one of those in Limgrave too. Up next is another fight where I play it pretty safe, so kind of takes a while. Didn't mean to do that, I meant to hydrate, but accidentally used my Ash of War instead. But this guy is just as fast as that other boss I just fought, the Cemetery Shade. I found that if you roll away from his first attack, that if you're far enough away, he'll follow it up with a claw, kind of a claw drag, and that's actually a pretty good opening. That's also an opening there. I didn't know why I didn't roll forward. But when he drags his weapons, it's actually a pretty good opening to dodge him in his follow-up swing and then give him a good poke. But yeah, his Bloodhound step is pretty nerve-wracking. You can see how fast he can get to you. So even if you're far away, he'll just catch right up and give you a good smack. It's kind of hard to time sometimes. I don't know how I didn't get hit there. That was weird. Let's see, yeah, he can catch up really quick. And he can also dodge really easily too, so it's hard to hit him with a firebomb. But luckily I got some good RNG there. And then claw drag. And see, he can actually dive away sometimes too, so it's pretty aggravating. That's him dodging. Yeah, this guy's kind of intense. You can parry him, but he doesn't have very many parry openings. I think he's just got like 3 out of all of his attacks, so I decided to just learn how to dodge him. Which also, this is, you know, I don't really have him mastered. I have a few openings that I found, and just in practicing that, you know, got him down. But yeah, a lot of these bosses, even though I beat them in Rune level 1 without taking a hit, I still don't have them mastered or memorized. I got a lot of work to do because this isn't the only one of these guys we'll see. There's his claw drag, roll, and swipe. Or poke. Ooh. I love my fire bombs, man. Anybody that knows, been with me and watched me play this game, know that I love using pots and consumables and throwables and stuff like that. Very, very useful. We almost get him. He's got a little bit of health left, so I don't know how that didn't hit him. That was really weird, but that's okay. We run in for the poke. And that Bloodhound's Fang is my second favorite weapon in the game. I'll definitely be using that later. Now these, this is the second mistake I made. That 0 should be a 1. And it's not because the boss hit me. I was fighting this boss. You'll see off to the side, you'll see some dead sheep there. Those sheep are rams, and they'll attack you. So I was trying to fight this boss, and a sheep ran up and hit me. So I had to kill those sheep with a bow and arrow before I actually came in and fought this boss. So that should be a 1 and not a 0. I forgot to turn my death counter up, so I apologize about that. This took me 1 attempt. Or 2 attempts, I should say. You can see the dead sheep over there on the side. And again, these birds are very, very aggravating to fight, and I do not mind using holy on them or their counterparts, the Deathrite birds. I will be using holy damage for all of these birds. I can't stand fighting them. One of my lesser favorite bosses, but there's 2 of them in Limgrave, so let's go ahead and get the second one out. I will maybe towards the last regions of the game, there are a couple of these that are super strong and stuff, and I might actually just fight those fair and square with like just a club and no holy damage just to learn them, but went ahead and decided to just knock these ones out with some holy because they don't like holy. Look at that damage. That's absurd. Yeah, but they're actually pretty hard to fight without it. So there are tougher ones than these in the game, so I'll fight those ones fair and square just to test myself. But otherwise, yeah, I just wanted to get past them. Alright, this next one is one of the first gank fights. There's 2 gank fights, and a gank fight, for anybody who doesn't know, is when you fight more than like 4 enemies at a time, you know, just like 5 or 6 enemies. And this is the first gank fight that I was really worried about. You know, it's going to take me a long time to get by, but luckily we can separate these 2 and their mobs that are with them. We got one more guy to take out. I can't believe that didn't kill him. That usually does. I don't know what happened there. They usually die with just one shot from the glintstone pebble, but if we stay on the left side of this arena, then it won't aggro the other Demi-human Chief, and we can fight this one-on-one. We just have to get rid of his little partners. I get stuck here. I don't know how I didn't get hit, and I don't know how I miss him. It's like, what? Outrageous. Yeah, these guys are pretty hectic. But luckily they go down pretty easy. They're easy to stagger, and they're easy to knock out of their hit animations. And stagger. So that's one Demi-human Chief down. And so before we go aggro the other one, I went ahead and buffed up. They don't like fire damage, even though the fire damage really doesn't do much because they're in water, and enemies that are in water have a 10% buff to fire damage. But went ahead and took out his little buddies there as quick as I could with the glintstone pebble, so that way I can fight him one-on-one. And I go ahead and 2-hand it for the extra damage. Yeah, I thought this was going to take me a lot longer than 8 tries because I'm not the biggest fan of gank fights. I won't go into why. Every time I give my opinion on gank fights, it starts an argument with From Software fans, so I'll just keep that opinion to myself. Just know that I'm not the biggest fan of them. But that's one gank fight and Limgrave down. And after that, I really needed a shower because that was hard work. So went ahead and stood under the water, get my character clean. Now she's all clean. Time to fight a dragon. I do not like fighting dragons. I really don't. They're really tough, you know. They're hard and challenging, but it must be done. As you can see, I already died to him because he's sitting in the middle of it. On the first time you fight this guy, he will fly out of nowhere and crash into the ground. It's really cool. So I wish I could have beat him on my first try so you guys could see that, but I'm not that good. I'm not going to try and jump over his wings and stuff to get the repost. Instead, I'm just going for the bleed. So I'm just trying to do bleed build up because his wings get in the way of you trying to get to the repost. Unless you repost him in front by hitting his face, it's really hard to get over to their eyeball so you can repost them. So But go ahead and just work on getting 2 staggers in, though. This is a good opening to jump and hit him in the face. I got that bleed going. And then another stagger. We're just going to go ahead and get as much damage in as possible before he gets back up. And done. Rest in peace, good dragon. Alright, next boss up is pretty easy because he's pretty weak to fire damage. And his attacks are pretty slow and stuff, but as you can see, I got hit on the first attempt, so. But otherwise they're pretty simple. Their attacks are just really slow and easy to time and dodge. They're easy to stagger. But they're pretty fun. And this is the attack that hit me on the first attempt. I rolled it the wrong time and the first little wave hit me. Go ahead and work on getting that stagger up. I think it comes right here. There it is. Probably should have hit him a couple of times before I reposted him, but that's okay. Swung too early there, but we got him here. Now the next 2 fights, the first one I'm okay with because it's just one alone, but then the second one is a gank fight that I was not looking forward to doing at all. The first fight is okay. These things are pretty annoying, but they're really easy to parry. But the second one after him, so I actually panic parried there, so I had to roll to keep from getting hit there. I know these things look like cats, even though they're called watchdogs. They look like a cat. They're pretty interesting. And this fight's okay, you know, because it's just one, you and him, but the second one, he has 4 imps, and that's so annoying. I can't believe they thought that'd be a good idea for a boss fight. And parry. And it took me a while, so the second fight that you're about to see here, it was one of the last things I did in Limgrave. I had gone to Stormhill Castle and collected the highest smithing stones possible, and my weapon is at level 7. I had to use all the buffs I possibly could. I even had to take off some clothes to get my attack power up so that I can one-shot these imps, because if you don't, they just swarm you. It's so fast and it's so unfair, I couldn't stand it, but luckily I was able to get to a point where I can just one-shot these guys. See how he just comes running at you, and there's stuff getting thrown at you, and then you got the watchdog on top of it. It's just, yeah, I don't like these fights. They're so aggravating. But luckily I got some good RNG, and I was able to get rid of the imps without taking any damage, so it's just me and the watchdog. He just refused to give me a parry opening. I was like, come on, man. Ah! But he gives me a couple here in a second. Yeah, I thought this fight was going to take me a long time. I was really, really relieved to get it done in 12 attempts. So relieved. That's the last time I'll ever do this boss fight at level 1. And so you guys are about to feel my anger too. I'm going to make you watch this. You're giving some you suck point downs to each and every single enemy in that fight. So there's 2 of the imps, 3rd imp, then 1 more for the 4th imp, and then we'll give the Erdtree Burial Watchdog a point down as well. I really don't like this fight. We gotta celebrate, and then you guys can see me get angry even more. I hate you guys. Ah! Next fight, on the other hand, is super fun. There's 2 different versions of these guys. One with a great axe, or a colossal axe actually, and one with hammers. And you can parry the hammer one. You can parry the axe one too, but he can only parry it when he's doing a one-handed attack, and he only has 2 openings. This guy, on the other hand, has tons of openings. His little twirl there, you have to wait for a second before you actually do the parry. It's kind of tricky, because you'll want to parry as soon as he twirls it, thinking that he's going to attack, but you just got to wait a second, and then he'll actually swing. Like that. Yeah, I love these guys. They're super fun to parry. At least the hammer ones are. The axe ones, not so much. So I give him a bow. Up next, we got another NPC fight. This one I do remember to show my stats at the end. He's got some two-handed attacks and a fire attack that you can't parry, so he hit me with that on the first attempt. But luckily on this one I got both, just 2 parry openings right away. So Henricus down. And there's my level 1. So next fight, unfortunately, is one of those fights that gets dragged out a little bit because I had some PTSD of him hitting me. There's certain openings where sometimes he'll only swing like once or twice, and then other times he'll extend it and swing a couple more times, and I kept getting hit by it, so I only found like 2 openings, this being one of them. And see how fast he actually returns after you give him a hit. But right here, it's like he stopped doing that, but there are times where he'll extend it and he'll do like 2 more attacks. And so I'd go in thinking that's an opening, and then he'd hit me. And so I got a little bit of PTSD from it. Same with that one. That slam is usually an opening, but sometimes he'll extend it with a fist punch and he'll catch me. It's like right there. I don't know why I didn't roll forward on that one. That was an opening. It was just me having PTSD from getting hit. I was just playing it way too safe. Like right there. And then punch. So like I would hit him thinking, okay, this is an opening, and then he'd punch me. And I'd be like, oh crap. So yeah, I'm going to need more practice with these guys, and I'm really, really not looking forward to the duo fight in Caelid. There's 2 of these in Caelid that are way stronger, have way more health, and they have to fight them in this exact room. It's the exact same room in the basement of a ruins, and it's so small. And I'm not looking forward to that fight. I really don't know how I'm going to get past it. Yeah, see, like I should have hit him there, but sometimes he would swing and punch me like that. But he would do it way faster. In case you're wondering why I don't hit him in the front, his head, as I saw earlier, his head, encased in this pumpkin helmet, and it takes no damage. It blocks out your swing, so you got to get behind him to actually do some damage. Yeah, I'm going to be real relieved when I get the duo fight down. Not have to worry about that anymore. And he didn't give me enough openings so I could stagger him or bleed him, unfortunately, so yeah, this fight takes a minute. I wish you could parry him. That'd be really cool. Actually, you know what? I don't even think I tried to parry him. I actually might try that with the duo fight, see if I can parry this guy. I'm not sure if you can, though. I don't know why I didn't try. I don't know why that just dawned on me now. Just figured they're not an enemy you can parry, but maybe you can. We're almost there. Sorry, I know you're probably screaming at me like, just attack him. Roll forward. Stop rolling back. I hear you. I hear you. I know. I'll work on it. This is actually just, you know, usually how it is when I learn a boss and I've kind of got them memorized, but not, you know, by heart. I just like found a few openings that I know are clean. It's usually me just being way too careful. So I apologize. I know it's probably super aggravating to watch. And like I tried to warn you earlier, I'm not a style fighter that hits every single opening clean and ends them in a cool way. Sometimes I get some cool endings, but other times I just play it way too safe. But he was a formidable adversary, so give him a bow. Up next is a weird boss. Sometimes he'll teleport. He's always going to teleport as you approach him. I meant to hydrate there, instead I threw a bomb, but as you approach him, he's going to teleport away, and usually he teleports around the corner, and he summons like 6 skeletons all in one area. But I got good RNG on this one. He teleported right there instead. So that was actually really, really lucky on my part. He doesn't attack too fast. He's always going to blow his horn to summon more skeletons first. So it gives you a good chance to get in a lot of damage. Got a stagger in, so give him a charged heavy. And took out one of his skeletons with that, but I had to get some distance so I can get his skeletons out of there so they don't get in the middle of it. And there's around the corner, there's like 4 or 5 more skeletons that he summoned, but luckily we're far away from them so they don't get in the middle of the fight. Gotta watch out for that. It's got a pretty big radius. But these ones aren't too hard. Another boss that's super weak to holy. But they're actually kind of fun to fight. I think that's pretty much all of the bosses in Northern Limgrave. Everything else should be in the Weeping Peninsula. I think. No, this one's in Limgrave. Okay, this one's in Agheel Lake, so these are actually pretty just like common enemies. There's a couple of them that are bosses. We'll see another one in the Altus Plateau. But they're pretty much the same as the Guardian Golem. You want to just give them some heavy charged on their legs. Staggers them pretty quickly. So, not too hard. Look at that. Charged heavy tier. Oh wait, I don't have charged heavy tier on. Guess they just don't like charged attacks on their feet. So up next is a boss that everybody does do in their Rune level 1 runs, because this boss is kind of like a sick joke from the developers. You think like, oh, it's just an enemy, I'll go up and fight him, and it turns out to be like a really hard boss that you're nowhere near leveled up for, so I love to parry these guys. It's kind of surprising how easy they are to parry. But sometimes, especially when you don't have like Carrying Retaliation or the Buckler or something that has really good parry frames, or even golden parry, if you get the wrong angle, like I could parry that jump attack, but if you're just like a little too far away or at the wrong angle, then you'll eat some damage and miss the parry. And so that's why there's 25 attempts up there, because I just kept parrying things that normally I could get like 10 parries in a row, and then he would give me one, I'd just be at the wrong angle and too far away or something and eat it and have to start over. So this is the only parry that I really felt consistent with, so I went ahead and just waited for that one. He's got a couple other openings I can hit him with, but for the most part it's kind of another fight that I play way too safe. Like, instead of hitting him twice there, I hit him once and roll away, because sometimes when I hit him twice, he will immediately do a shoulder check in response, and I just can't get away from it. So I always just play it safe and give him one smack on the butt right there on this charged attack. See, I'd hit him twice and he would shoulder check me. So I just got a little PTSD from that. Knocking down trees. Yeah, I was too far away to parry that. And I know you can like kind of roll around his shield attacks, but they're super easy to get hit by if you mess up or roll at the wrong time, so I always just play it safe. This, especially that slam right there into the ground's got a big radius. Really big. You have to get behind him and roll away to dodge it up close. So if you're in the front, if you roll at the wrong time, it'll hit you. Plus, he actually takes less damage if you hit him on his shield side, so I tend not to try and hit him on that side too. That's also where he does the shoulder check a lot too. I could have parried that, but I was too far away. Yeah, we'll fight harder versions of these guys, but luckily we'll have a better parry Ash of War at the time, so hopefully it won't be too hard. Yeah, these guys are way more aggressive than the Knight's Cavalry. Knight's Cavalry like to ride around a lot in circles and stuff because, like I said, it's supposed to be a jousting fight where you fight them on your horse, but this guy is just on another level. In case you're wondering why I'm not reposting him, there's no repost for them. If you parry or stagger them, they'll take 10% more damage, I think, on the next hit. So you just get a small window to get some extra damage in. And then they'll always stagger back and you can chase them down for another hit. And then you gotta roll away, because if you're too close, he will shoulder check. That shoulder check is so fast. I swear about 10 of my attempts were... 10 of that 25 was due to that shoulder check. It was just super aggravating. So I tend to just play it way too safe. And we got him. Yeah, that took like an hour or two to get down. Can't remember. Took a while. Now this next fight, I love fighting these guys. Love it. Absolutely love it. They are so much fun to fight. A lot of people don't like them. They're especially really, really difficult if you don't know how to parry. But if you do, they are so fun. So the first half of this fight, I stay next to him. Once you get him down to about 50% HP, he is going to do this attack. You got to turn to actually catch the parry window, because if you stand right in front of him, it'll be to the side and you'll miss it. So you got to turn to catch that one. I actually hate parrying that one. But once you get him down to about 50% HP, he's going to turn into this, like, he's going to like gain some angel powers where he can like sprout some wings and a dragon tail. And that dragon tail attack comes out so fast it is impossible to dodge it when you're just standing still. So once he goes into his powered up mode, I go ahead and I start manipulating him to give me parry openings. And I do that by running away. So this is his powered up mode. Now he's got these really cool angel attacks and dragon attacks. But if you're standing next to him, like I just was for the first half of the fight, he will just bust that tail attack out and it comes out so fast you cannot dodge it. You have to like pre-roll before he even does the attack in order to get the frames to dodge it. It really comes out way too fast. So I run away because that causes him to do a couple attacks like these to try and catch up to you, that if you run to him and you're close enough you can parry. I could have parried that one, but I was running away thinking he might do his tail attack, which he does in a second. That's one. That's a double swipe that he does to try and catch you, but if you're next to him, he might just do one swipe and it comes out far too fast, like I said, 10 times in a row. So that's why we're running away. I could have parried that, but I think I was a little bit too far and wanted to play it safe. No point in throwing bombs at him. His shield blocks out a lot of damage. But luckily, he likes to try and catch up to you by doing those lunging attacks that are pretty easy to parry, so that's what I'm doing, running away from him. But he gives me a lot of these attacks that you cannot parry. You just gotta roll through. These guys and the Bell-Bearing Hunters, they're so much harder to fight if you don't know how to parry. I don't know why I jumped there. It was just kind of like habit when he stomps. I don't know why I didn't parry that. That was weird. Me just being a nervous Nelly. That's such a cool attack. I love these knights. They're so awesome. Unfortunately, there's a dual fight with 2 of them. That is not fun, though. 1 of them at a time is fun, but 2 at a time, oh man. I've already done it. It's actually in my boss section. There should be arbitrary boss fight. That's what I think I titled the folder. You guys can go check it out. I was at a higher level, though. I wasn't at rune level 1, but I parried, no damage them, or no hit them. And it took me... see, Melania took me like 161 attempts to beat. Parrying the dual Crucible Knights took me 285 attempts. And I was not having fun. It was very difficult. These guys are super tough in a pair. So I'm not looking forward to doing that one again. But this one's done. Up next, I went ahead and headed into Stormville Castle. So we got Margit, and I'm actually kind of surprised at how many attempts it took me to beat him because I was still practicing him. Like, this was a practice attempt. I thought it was going to take me a lot more, but I just got really good RNG where he kept giving me parry openings. And there again, I forgot to switch over to my flask, and I threw a bomb instead of hydrating. So this first attack, you have to count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he's got a couple of golden dagger attacks that you'll see here in a second that you can't parry, and they come out so quick that he kept hitting me with it, so I thought it was going to take me a lot more attempts, but on this attempt he gave me nothing but parry openings, so it was pretty good. So I got good RNG on this one.
Thou art of passing skill. Warrior blood must
1, 2, 3, 4.
Tarnished.
I don't know how I didn't get hit there. That was crazy. That's Margit the Fell Omen. Give him a bow. Not just because he's a worthy opponent, but because actually his story's pretty sad. I feel bad for him. I got a lot of respect for him. And so this is the point where I chose to go to Round Table Hold, which at Round Table Hold you can upgrade your weapons a little bit higher and stuff.
Very well.
And
Hand rest upon you.
this is usually the moment that she comes in to take you to Round Table Hold. Most people go to Round Table Hold after this fight, so after this fight I chose to allow myself to go there. And there's actually a fight in there that we do. So this is kind of like the hub area of the game where you can upgrade stuff and buy supplies and...
Oh, this is a rare occasion. I can't remember the last time a new Tarnished made their way to the Round Table. Very well. As your senior, I bid you welcome. It is safe here. You may let down your guard.
That's a lie. There's actually 2 NPC fights here. The second one doesn't happen until we go into Liurnia, so that's going to be for a different video. But this one went ahead and did it right away. Also because he gives us the coolest bow in the game. If you attack him right away as he comes in, then you won't get the gesture. But if you let him spawn in and wait, he bows and gives you the gesture. So go ahead and bow back to him. This is a pretty cool NPC. I like this build that he has. Plus I love those scythes. Those scythes are so much fun to use. Again, I'm trying to manipulate these NPCs into giving me parry openings. Usually they chase you down and try to give you one, so I always run away afterwards because sometimes they don't follow it up with a second parry opening. They're really good at dodging too. It's aggravating. I kind of panic parried there. And that dust, that is not a debuff. That will do some serious damage if you walk into it, so gotta make sure I stay out of those clouds. And unfortunately, he gets a heal off. It's like, you sucker, but we gotta bleed, and that causes him to try and heal again, so got another opening. And then one more parry. Next boss is another silly boss to do, but it has a boss bar, a boss health bar, so got it added in here, even though it's just kind of like a regular enemy out in the world. And it's pretty weird that they made it a boss. And I know I got hit because they built up the poison really fast. I got hit by the cloud of poison, which is aggravating, but such as it is. He's got 4 little plants around him you gotta take out first, so just go ahead and throw some bombs down. So that right there, that hit me. And the first time I didn't realize he was doing it. I was trying to take out his buddies. But these guys don't like fire, so you gotta stay away because they got this slam attack. If you're too busy hitting them and not paying attention, that will get you. And he's gonna do his little power attack. Trying to get him to do it. There it is. Shoots down lightning, but it also locks him in place, so you can go and get some damage in on him. Unfortunately, I knocked him out of his repost there because he caught fire, so that was a bummer. That's alright. Pretty easy boss. So at this point, now that we defeated Godrick, or Margit, we have an extra talisman pouch, so I went into Weeping Peninsula, so that way I could wear the Radagon Scar Seal and the Dancer's Charm. Just kind of gives some extra damage. I started using these buffs a lot too, so. And the bosses in Weeping Peninsula are a little bit harder than the ones up in Northern Limgrave. But we got a second one of these. I don't know how that didn't hit him. That was outrageous. And I actually kept the dagger on because the first attempt you see there, I knocked him off his horse and I reposted him and I couldn't get him dead. I couldn't get the rest of his health back, and he summoned his horse and I got hit by the explosion. So I decided to use the dagger because the daggers do a little bit more damage on their reposts than regular weapons do, but turns out I didn't need it because for some odd reason all my hits hit him as well as his horse. Most of the time you usually just hit his horse. Like you see there, it took some damage off him too. That's weird. I just like poked him. I don't know how it was him. Maybe I hit his leg or something and that caused them to take some damage. But most of the time you usually just take damage. The horse just takes the damage. Like that. Or no, that one hit him too. Actually, that one, I don't think it took any damage off the horse. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Their hitboxes. Ooh, that was close. This is the last one of these guys in this region, but there's several more in other regions, so we got a lot more of these guys to fight. As it is with most bosses, I can't believe that shoulder check didn't hit me. I usually get hit by those. So yeah, the first time I did this, I did not have him down to that such a little health bar right there. he had like half his health when I stabbed him and it didn't kill him. And I tried swinging and he summoned his horse and it causes a big explosion to go off and I ate that like a fool. Now this next boss, I am so happy that this is the only one in the game that has a boss health bar. There are so many of these. Everybody that I know hates fighting them. I hate fighting them. It's another drawn out fight where I'm too scared to swing and stuff because he is so disturbingly fast. So disturbingly fast. It is ridiculous how fast these things are for how big they are. Anybody that has played this game just cannot stand these enemies. These rune bears are so atrocious. And so there's a lot of openings that I sacrifice because I've just got this PTSD of him hitting me so quickly. Especially with this little mouth bite right there. He does that so fast sometimes. Let's see. Like he can end a combo and then just go right into that mouth bite before you can do anything about it. So yeah, this is the only one in the game that is actually a boss. All the rest of them have no boss, no names above their health bar, so this is the only one I will fight, thankfully. Look at how quick that is. That's such a quick return. There's a couple of swipes, I don't know how they missed me. Like that right there, that should have hit me. I get stuck and the camera goes bonkers, so luckily we can throw some out. That just went right under him. I disagree with that. That was the game cheating. This is so quick, it freaks me out. Just watching it gives me, making me sweat. This also took like an hour to get past. Actually, that charge, you know, I kind of realized that he gets stuck in an animation after doing it, so once you dodge the initial part of it, it just kind of drags on and you can, like this, get a hit off of him. Yeah, this is one of those bosses where once you hit them, you gotta immediately roll away because they will attack again within a split second. I keep missing him. Usually I hit his leg on that. That was really aggravating me. I don't know how that didn't hit me. That was really weird. It's just been like a pixel too far away for him. It also sucks because he's in water, which lowers the fire damage. These guys don't like fire. Then I'm out of bombs. I'm like, oh no. Wish I had more pots. Okay, I get a hit here, and then he gives me an opening for a heavy jump attack. And then I get some good RNG there. He must have been winding up to do a grab, because if he had done a face bite, that would have been the end of the fight right there. So yeah. Whew. These things are so intense. Had to give him a you suck point down. Alright, this is one of our 2 misbegotten enemies that we have to fight. First one, super duper easy, so you can see. Got him on the first try. And the second one was the boss that gave me the most trouble out of all the bosses in Limgrave. But we'll get to that one in a minute. This one's pretty easy. He's got a lot of poise, and he hits really hard, but he's super duper slow. Also doesn't have too much health, so pretty easy to take out. But the second one is extremely difficult. It's one of those bosses that I've just blown through every time I play the game because I either summon or just use an overpowered weapon. And fighting him at Rune level 1, as you can see, I died 33 times to him. That's the most deaths out of any of the bosses in Limgrave. And it's because of this claw attack that he has that comes out just like the Crucible Knight's tail attack, so fast that it's just almost impossible to dodge. And luckily, he finally gave me a fight where he doesn't do it. Because that's, I'd say, about 28 of my attempts came from him doing that claw attack and catching me with it. So I just try to manipulate his parry openings because he only got a few. If he's two-handing the sword, because it's a colossal sword like that, you can't parry that one, but you can throw a bomb at him. So yeah, this guy made me suffer pretty hard. And so at this point I was like, just need one more parry. And so I was playing it way too safe. I could have hit him there, but I was just playing it way too safe. Didn't want that claw attack to come out. And I was like, yes! Yes! He goes down. Even though he's an a good adversary, had to give him a point down for how much he tortured me. This next boss, I was actually kind of shocked I got him as quickly as I did. 14 tries is still a lot, but it's kind of a trick. It's a dungeon that's at the way start of the game. Before you even go into Limgrave, you can go into this dungeon, and it's a trick. Like, you're supposed to be at level like 40 to fight this guy, instead of like all the other Limgrave bosses are a lot weaker than him, don't have as much health. So this is a kind of a trick one from the developers to get people to come in and be like, I can't do this, it's too hard. So I was surprised I got him on my 14th try. I thought he was going to take a lot longer, especially because I don't know how I didn't get hit there. That was really weird. And especially because the arena you fight him in sucks. It's so small for what kind of a boss and how big he is. And the moves he does, it just makes the camera go ballistic. So got to stagger in, go ahead and get some extra damage before the repost. These guys also don't like fire. You got to run away after you get him down to half health because he's going to blow up. But it's a good opening to throw a firebomb at him. These guys are super chaotic. You can see with the camera just going all over the place. It's like hard to tell what he's doing sometimes. But luckily we get another stagger in to end the fight. I don't know how I missed him there. That was weak sauce. And and dodge the bite and stagger. One more hit to the face. End it with the repost. Alright, and after this, guys, we got one more boss, which I'm always going to end the videos with the Rune Bearer, or the boss of the Legacy Dungeon of the region that I'm in. So Stormhill Castle, the main boss is Godrick the Grafted. I wish I could beat him on the first try so I could, have the cutscenes for the bosses, but I'm afraid you guys aren't going to see those, because I'm just not good enough to do it on the first try. But I decided to switch from fire bombs to kukris to build up some blood loss on him. If you throw a kukri at a distance, it causes him to do that attack right there. And then if you get close to him, he'll usually just do that jump. He has two different variations. He can either throw some wind at you, or he can do that jump that I dodged right there. So it's pretty easy to manipulate him into giving you that opening. And I did not think, I was thinking that I had to hit him a few more times. I would have hit him right there. I backed away, and then he goes into his animation for his phase 2 cutscene, which you can get a couple of hits on. And luckily I got a bleed off, thanks to the kukris. I could have showed the cutscene there, but it would be kind of weird to not show the first cutscene but show the second one. So luckily I got another stagger. And then he's got some fire attacks, like he'll breathe fire out of that dragon right there, and sometimes that's just a sweeping one, but sometimes he'll do one that goes out pretty far, and he'll do it for quite a while, and it's hard to get away from. So that's why I ran away so fast and so quickly from him. And I get up close so that he can, instead of doing his projectile attack, I wanted him to do that one. And then I really didn't think I was going to get him with kukris, but that is how we get Godrick down, with a kukri.
I am the Lord of all that is golden.
will return together to our home, bathed in rays of gold.
And that's it, you guys. That is all the bosses and all of the invaders in Limgrave done at level 1. So hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed making it. Before we end this, we're going to go ahead and go get our Great Rune, and we're going to head into Liurnia. So just wanted to say I learned a lot about this game doing a Rune level 1 challenge. I've beaten this game nearly 15 times, made a walkthrough for the base game, and we'll make one for the DLC, and I'm still learning new things about it. Getting to know it on this level just makes me love it even more. And that's the best advice I can give to anyone who is wondering if they can beat this game at level 1. First thing is, be patient. Accept your mistakes, try and learn from them. When you get hit or die, don't blame the game, say it sucks, or curse the developers. Instead, just ask, what did I do wrong there, and what can I do differently? And the second most important tip I can give to someone that wants to do a Rune level 1 run is you have to love this game. The only way you'll make it through the challenge like this is if you want it. And so with that said, I'm going to head into the next region, Liurnia of the Lakes, and it'll be some time before the next video for this challenge comes out, as there are 2 bosses in Liurnia that I cannot access without going into Caelid first. So this means that I will defeat all the bosses I possibly can in Liurnia, then I'll have to clear out all of Caelid, then go back into Liurnia and finish the last 2 bosses there. So I know this kind of breaks the region lock rule, but it can't be helped. It's how the game is set up, so that'll be the only exception to that region lock rule. And there's a NPC, I think Godrick is not the biggest fan of Godrick, so after you beat Godrick, he's sitting there kicking his face in, but we'll go ahead and go into the throne room of Stormhill Castle. And so, anybody that gave this video likes, I really, really appreciate it. It means the world to me. And thank you for anybody that watched the whole hour. I also put up a no commentary version of this, just in case you're not interested in hearing my opinions or hearing me talk. It's totally understandable. But yeah, I still got a lot of work ahead of me. Got a lot of regions to go through. I bet you're wondering too why I didn't do the underground portions. Again, the underground portions are a little tricky, and I'll explain that later when I do it, but I'm going to compile all the underground bosses together and end it with Moog as we go into the DLC. So yeah, I didn't add those to, I'm not going to add those to any of the other region videos. I'm just going to give it its own video. But when you guys see the next RL1 video come out, it'll be here in Liurnia. Really, really beautiful place in the game, so I'm excited to do it. But that's it. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. Just taking a look at this beautiful place. And until the next one, please be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other. The world really, really needs it. I love you guys.